management plans. Let's look at what I mean by risk management plan. That is the second thing here. So one Chinese proverb says that if you need the water today, you need to dig the well yesterday. It is very similar to if you need fruits today, obviously you need to plant the tree little early, not today, but probably a few years earlier than today. So it's very similar to doing a risk management planning. Risk planning should happen as early as into the project. What I mean by this is risk planning is nothing but identification. This is mainly to really look at what kind of risks probably my project will go through due course of the project, and what kind of actions that I need to take. Let's go to the next slide. So a few tips. Whenever you see this kind of slide, you can straight away assume that it's a kind of a tip which I'm sharing from a personal experience. It is important that all the risk planning should be done by the team. The reason being, most of the times team is going to be working on the project ground level. So as a project manager, though you would be knowing what is happening at the overall, but team is the team got the right people to give the right suggestions. And it is important that this meeting has to happen throughout the project duration, because from starting to the end, it should not be intermittently, it should be planned. Let's look at how you can do that. As I said earlier, risk management planning is all about planning for the risk well in advance. So the first thing is, which is methodology. As you can see here, methodology is all about very high level definition of what is risk, and then why as a project team we need to look at the risks, and also at very high level, how are you going to manage these risks? In order for us to manage the risks, the next one is we need to have the people. So that's where these roles and responsibilities come into picture. And at the same time, in order for us to manage the risks, we need to allocate some money as well. That's where the budgeting part comes into picture. So when I say budgeting, ideally for a project you would get the budget from the sponsor. So that is the reason sponsors also need to understand that the team is doing the risk management. So I need to allocate some budget to the team. Fourth point is timing. This is all about the frequency. When I say frequency, how frequently you need to do the risk management. So again, the frequency, what it means is whether I'm planning to do once in a month, or once in a week, or once in a quarter, or is it going to be daily activity? That is one thing. And second one is how long these risk management meetings need to happen. So that will be covered there. The next thing is the risk categories, which I'm going to spend some time in the next few slides. Risk categories are important because indirectly these will happen as the checklist as well. And the not last one, there is one more thing: reporting format and then tracking. This is again an important aspect, because as a project we will be having multiple, or you will be having multiple stakeholders. So when I say stakeholder, as an example could be your sponsor, project team, the business users that are going to use this application, and also suppose if you're not part of the technical team, the technology team, infrastructure team, and if you're part of the IT team, the business users and the business managers who are going to get these requirements. And the kind of reporting a sponsor would look at versus the kind of report the business user look at versus the kind of report your team would look at is going to be different. To give an example, sponsor probably most likely would like to see the high impact risks, and also the kind of money that is associated if you need to manage the risk, versus the team members would like to would like to look at more of operational kind of risks which would impact their day-to-day work. So that is the reason as a project manager you need to really agree very early what kind of format that you are going to do it. Last one is probability and impact matrix. I'm going to touch this upon more in detail when we go to qualitative risk analysis, which comes as part of how to manage this. I'm going to skip it here, but I'll touch upon this particular point a little later. So two things which I said I am going to speak later. One is probability and impact matrix, and second one is risk categories. And by the way, as you go through this PPT, you will encounter 5 questions, and you will have to answer 5 questions towards the end of the webinar. Mostly you can post it into the site where you logged into this particular webinar. So keep a watch out for the questions that are going to come in very soon. So this is a quick example of project impact that is going to cause on the project objectives. Let me explain to you more in detail. So I'll not go through all the things, but I'll quickly look at the first one. So this is, as I said, is going to be a reference document of the template that a project team can use, and this is not a standardized or whatever. This can change according to the project to project, and then it could be different from the organization to organization. So let's look at the first one. Cost and budget. Suppose if there is no increase in the budget, so suppose as an example, I was allocated for 10 million pounds to deliver a project, and then suppose there is a risk, and then my budget would go for another let's say 50,000 pounds, which I would say it's very insignificant increase. I would say the impact is very less or very low. However, if it is say for an example 1 to 10% increase, which is another 1 million additional increase, still I might say it is very low. Sorry, it's low. And then if it is 1 million to 2 million, which is 10% to 20%, I could categorize it as a moderate impact. And if it is going to be 2 million to 4 million, I would say that it's going to be high impact. So the last one is if it is going to be if it is more than 4 million, I would say very high impact. Again, as I said, it would change from organization to organization, project to project, and again it will also change from the environmental factors. What I mean by that is, suppose let's say it is all, as you know, right now there is Eurozone crisis, and then there is a people have been saying that there is going to be recession. So in this scenario, maybe I would say even increase of 10 to 20% I can categorize as very high. The reason being because at this current scenario, money is very important to me. Versus suppose there is a government regulation, and then I need to for sure I need to implement this project. In that scenario, the next one, time or schedule, is going to be more important to me versus the cost. So that's how it has to be changed or done. As I said, this is a very important tool. In case if you would like to use it, you just need to come up with this particular template and then go ahead and do that. So let me go to the next slide. So this is the first question for you. As I said, it's not required for you to answer straight away. You can take a paper and pencil. You can just make a note Q1 and then what is the answer, ABCD. You have 4 options. I'll leave it for you. Project risk is the uncertainty that an event or condition that affects dash